do this. Are we live? I think we're live.
Really?
We are. It's quite amazing that we're always on time. I think we're just super women. But I'm still gonna wait for a few people.
Don't knock it.
Before I start talking, just so we don't just keep talking to nobody. We're on time. Why you guys so late? I know you all are going to sign on to our show because it's so interesting and so much fun. So I know you guys are going to join in. Let's hang in for 2 more minutes before we introduce ourselves, girls. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm just waiting for some activity there. Okay. Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to You, Me, and Her, Tuesday evening, 5:30, Facebook Live. Everybody looks forward to this, and we're here again today with my two co-hosts who are very, very inspiring women. And we have to show you behind the scenes one day because the kind of arguments and discussions that we have, and we want to sometimes kill each other, and sometimes we are blowing kisses at each other because we're not allowed any physical contact. That is actually going to be making the most fun show ever. That's the kind of women. You've got 3 women with distinct personalities who come together to put it together for you all and make it fun. So there is Sonal, who is trying to pacify the 2 crazy women that are on either side of her because we both have a point, and she's like, okay, calm down. Let's take a step back and see how this works. So that's Sonal for you. Say hi, Sonal.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our show. Happy to have you here.
And Annie, and while I believe that Sonal was the perfectionist, I realized that Annie was the one who was instigating her to be the perfectionist totally. Not that Sonal isn't, but she was instigating her because she thought I was totally like filled out, and she's this person who likes it proper. But here we are because she's keeping me proper and in shape, and Sonal's keeping it pacified. She's the naughty one. Say hi, Annie.
I'm also the clumsy one, okay? So if my phone drops in the middle of the show, it's me.
Joining in. Hi, Claire. Hi, Mohit. Hi, Akash. Sorry, Sonal. What was that?
She already has a disclaimer about the phone.
I do.
And don't be surprised, guys, if very soon there'll be one maid walking in to check with Annie khana kya banana hai.
हो सकता है.
Could be also. The first show I cracked up, I fell off the sofa. Now you have to see the calm like she was enter the studio.
I swear she has a better following than I do. Okay, I'm going to have to make an Instagram page. I'm not joking.
But the reason this show is fun is because it's real. It's because the kind of people that we're bringing on the show are stories you want to hear, stories that, of course, the guest we have today is very interesting. Any which way you would want, the story, because she's he or she is a popular Facebook person or social media person. However, we are bringing in very interesting guests for you, and the research into the guests and into the topic is done by Sonal and Annie. Let me just quickly clarify. They're the ones who like controversial.
It's teamwork.
It's teamwork. No, I'm happy to be there. I'm happy to be a part of this team that is such a thorough team. And we have Shalini who signed in as well. Hi, Shalini. Shalini, we're waiting for our guest to join in before I start his introduction because it's a very, very special person. So till then, you're going to just catch Sonal, Annie, and me chatting and chai pe charcha.
I know. Having chai.
Hi, Shalini. Good to have you over.
Yeah, I wish she had a microphone as well.
I know. Annie, do you have any idea when Alex is going to join us, or Maya?
Well, you know what? Either could join us at any time. So 5:30 has been given. So he could be coming out from one show and into another.
Oh,
so he's a busy person.
Okay, I also came in from one room to another. It's not a joke. It takes a lot of doing, let me tell you. Hi, Samar. Good to see you. Samar, you should stay on because I have a very interesting guest. So I'm sure you'll have some opinions, and the idea is to have some interesting questions and interesting perspectives from our friends who are joining us to watch this. But okay, now that we don't have Maya joining in, what I can do is I can give you a little brief about the guest we have today, after which Sonal can take on from there and we can address the questions with the guest. What do you think, Annie? Should we wait like a minute more?
Well, shall I do this? Do you want me to slip out the studio and then slip right back in like everyone else is doing?
Yeah.
Let me check. Yeah. Okay. So wait.
That's good.
Lovely. Shalini, Sonal, can you read the messages as well, girls? Are you able to?
Actually.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight a few of the messages. So then just tell me if you all can see it. Do you see this message?
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Hi, Shalini. That's my college friend.
Lovely. So a couple of friends that are going to, that we would love to actually, for you, both of you to read. I'm going to just highlight those as well so that you can see the questions being addressed to you, and also your friends who are very kindly sitting here and watching us and having chai with us. Though my chai is missing, but at least I'm thinking about it. Now we are all here, we're chilling and chatting, and now that I was not going to actually talk about it today because we've been talking about it in the past shows, but now that Annie has left, I want to tell you that this story started with them doing an interview, and here we are again today. That's where the concept came from, about us doing a chat show together, because it was so much fun, and we said the three of us would have a great camaraderie, and we had opinions and perspectives, and we thought we were getting a lot of questions from the audience. So we said, why not create a show where we can create a platform for the audience to be able to address questions to the topics that we are intending to raise, which was how this show came about. And I thought You, Me, and Her was an interesting concept, because the you, me, and her can keep changing, because I'm going to run away maybe soon to Monaco. But till I'm here, I'm going to enjoy my girls, enjoy my camaraderie.
Don't worry, we will still have you online. Now we know StreamYard. Now we know every live. You will still be right there with us.
Shalini, just an update. He's getting his face on. It takes a long time. What it is? Let me slip. I know. I mean, look. You know what? Give us a run for our money. I'm telling you.
So I have to tell you a bit of the behind the scenes. Today, when we were trying to log in, there's this complete hysteria going on, because for some reason, I have this dilapidated computer that I'm using because I don't live here. So I managed to, get one out, and it was just not doing justice. So I was just distorted. Last show, I was lost. I was gone. So they were all laughing at me. And suddenly, when I started showing on the screen, till now, Annie was not able to see me. And when I started showing on the screen, she looks at me and she says, "Oh my God, you've got to put your lipstick on now. Run and do that." I was like, "Oh, I'm the lipstick now."
I said, "Maya's coming on. You've got to wear lipstick, for goodness sake. Come on." Okay, what it is? I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave you for a second. Do carry on. See, this is live. This is what happened. I'm coming in and out. That's the way we roll.
Bring the maid. And leave her as proxy.
So, yes, it's most of the time it's Shals telling us, what's good about Annie, what's good about me, and we never get a chance to actually introduce Shals, because Shals doesn't need introduction, but she also brings in a lot to the table: the energy, the glamour, the audience, so everybody brings in something to the table, and we are very happy, the three of us, to be together, bringing three different dimensions into perspective. So
that's such a sweet thing to say. However, I just like to talk about you girls, because I admire the work that both of you are doing, and I love the research that you do. Eventually when you put a show like this together, it's everybody that has to bring in a certain energy, or people won't watch. So, but I appreciate you mentioning it. Means a lot to me. So see, we love each other too. I hope you all are noticing. So we have some of Alex's friends who are joining us as well, as you can see, Sonal.
Yes.
Hi, Lata. How are you? Good to have you here. Hola.
Oh, hi, Lata. Lata is joining us from New York, though. Just to mention.
Awesome to have you here.
Hi,
we also have Shilpi, who's also a regular with us. Thanks for joining us again, Shilpi. It's lovely to have you here. Annie's trying to get back into the show, and I'm not letting her in. I love
I take that personally. See, look, Shalini's the genie here. Okay. I'm gonna rub my nose.
Can you hear me?
So now I can officially welcome our guest on the show. Let me tell you that okay, why is it echoing?
Just a second.
Oh, look.
Maybe your Maya?
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yes, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. But are you still echoing? Is your computer on the phone?
Just a second.
Oh, yeah.
Echoing.
Oh.
Hi, Lata. We're just waiting to get the acoustics right. So just bear with us for a minute. If we were in a broadcast studio, literally, we wouldn't have had this problem, but we're not. So we're just getting it all together. And I'm going to show Alex's friend's message. Good to see you after a long time.
Oh, look, Alex there. The good message is Alex. I like that.
Okay. Now I'm echoing because wherever your computer is not okay.
I'm actually on my phone.
Oh,
it's better now. It's better.
You have to hold your phone because if you put the speaker on a surface, it will
Okay,
so
I'll hold my phone then.
There you go. That's what's going to work. Is that better?
Oh, I think it's yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yay.
All right,
Okay.
we are.
So when I started looking at Maya, the drag queen, the first statement that came to me was "Be yourself. Everyone is already taken" by Oscar Wilde, which is how the introduction to Maya begins in every story. And you can call Alex Matthew, you can call him Maya, you can call him the Black Queen. These are various facets of the same person. Maya, we are still Could you
let me try something.
There's a lot of echo.
You can't rest.
No, I can't rest it anywhere.
You'll have to hold it. Just hold it in your hand.
Okay.
Yeah? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's
Why do we have so much echo though?
The echo
yeah,
is
I
if you
don't understand.
speaker of a phone on a surface, it will echo. So you can't put it on your knee or your elbow or a glass top or anything. You have to hold it up front, in front of you.
That's better actually, Shals. That's much better.
Yes.
Now
So
it's
Maya, just hold it, and I'm going to continue your introduction, which is absolutely intriguing because while we decided to have you on the show, I sat down and watched a lot of your, lot of information about you and lots of your stories. And I also learned that drag is actually a performance art, which I think I didn't know, and neither do a lot of people know. So I'm glad that I read up about you, and I loved your TED Talk because that is one of my aspirations to be able to do it. So it was absolutely awesome to sit this morning and hear your TED Talk. So big welcome to you on our show, You, Me, and Her, with Shals, me, moi, and Sonal and Annie. And I'm going to hand it over now to Sonal. First, you can say hello to the viewers.
Hi, everybody.
Sonal, why don't you take over and take it forward?
Hi, Alex. Welcome to our show. As Shalini mentioned, Alex wears many hats. There's still a lot of echo. I'm not sure why.
Are you sure somebody's laptop isn't on?
No, I think it's just the phone speaker resting somewhere. Any of you resting your phone speakers?
No, just on a stand actually.
Okay, now it's fine. Now it's fine again. There's no echo. Come on, Sonal. Let's do this.
Okay. So as Shalini mentioned, Alex wears a lot of hats, from being an artist manager at Lalit's to being Maya the drag queen in the evening to being a strong voice of the LGBT community. He has an inspiring story. A little spark ignited while watching Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire that actually led him to this journey of creating this persona about Maya the drag queen. So today we will be hearing everything, all of the story from Maya, his struggles, his hardships, his victories, his heartbreaks, life before Section 377 and post the verdict. We have it all here for you, coming from Maya the DragQueen. So coming on, going to you, Maya. What made you come out and be yourself and create this persona of Maya the drag queen? It takes a lot of courage. What made you do it?
Thank you so much, Sonal, for the introduction. So the reason why I chose drag is because I am a theater geek. I've been performing in theater since 2011, and with that, I was actually working in Hyderabad, and from there I shifted to Bangalore. When I came to Bangalore, I was going for different auditions, and they were like, "Oh, you're not good for the part because you are a little bit effeminate, and you've got this strong Malayali accent." So with that, I was like, people were during the auditions actually just saying out my weaknesses. They were saying that this is your weakness, so you need to work on it. There was a veteran actress who actually told me you need to neutralize your accent. And with that, I kind of, I took all these weaknesses by people and made it into my strength. That's when I happened to like do research by watching a lot of movies. And when I watched Mrs. Doubtfire, I was like, if Robin Williams can do drag, I can do drag too. And that led to me actually venturing into drag as an art form, learning more about drag, going from Miss Dame Edna in London to RuPaul in US. There were not many examples from India as drag as an art form. So that's when I had to look to the West to actually use some of those inspirations and ideas to actually incorporate in what I do today. So with that, I was able to create this character as Maya Ma, or Maya the drag queen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, in the context of our society that we live in, where, as you mentioned, a lot of people still don't know who drag performers are, how was it for you in terms of acceptance within your own family, within the society, for you to reach where you have reached and create this whole persona of Maya Ma and Maya the drag queen? What challenges did you face?
I noticed that there was a lot of ignorance. People were ignorant about my art form. So educating them better by saying, listen, I'm just a human being and I just love to perform on stage. And that's it. That's all I want. Yeah, I just want you to watch me perform. That's all I need from you. And with that, I actually told a lot of people through my performances. I went to schools, I went to colleges. Various TED talk that I did was in colleges actually. So with that, I was able to actually, go beyond what people had all these assumptions and pre-notions about a drag queen. That drag queens are slutty, drag queens are actually campy. But then I just wanted to tell them, listen, I am classy, I'm sassy, and I'm elegant at heart. And that's how I was able to like surpass all of those prejudgments about as a drag queen. So that's how I was able to like put it across.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And any challenges on the way as far as the acceptance goes within your family, within the society?
So when I started performing in drag, I had a lot of friends who stopped talking to me, stopped reaching out to me. I had my relatives actually, give abuses or sort of like become silent to my parents. But then my mom was like, "I accept you no matter what. I love you no matter what," and that is what mattered to me most. I really didn't care about relatives because they don't pay my bills at the end of the day. and friends who were true to me stayed with me, and they understood what my journey was. And that's what matters, right? Like, people may not know who you are and not know your journey, but if they're willing to take the step to know you, that is something which makes a bigger difference, actually.
Okay.
Right. Annie?
Yeah, so for me, I mean, thank you so much for coming on today. Eventually, it's fantastic. At least I know there's somebody else who takes just as long to get ready as I do. And obviously I've been reading about you, and I can see that you really struggle with acceptance, with people taking you seriously. And it's not just the drag, there's also another part of you as well. This is what is hard to communicate. Now, there's one thing that's really troubled me, and this is a question I've asked a lot of my heterosexual friends, because I guess that's what I'm surrounded by mostly, and they don't have the answers. The question is, like, for example, you said you get propositioned a lot, and this is what I read. Why is the LGBTQIA community associated with promiscuity? Why is that? What's with that?
Uh, like, with our community, we are very free with our sexuality. And in terms
Mm-hmm.
of we expressing our sexuality is at the heights. Like, if you come to the nightclub where I perform, for example, we have
Mm-hmm.
couples right, left, center, be it gay, lesbian, trans,
Yeah.
gender, they all are actually ready to like have the best time of their lives. And if they have a partner next to them, then it's just how they just wanted to express themselves, because till till some time they were not allowed to express themselves the way they are. And
Yeah.
for others it would be like too much to deal with, because they don't deal with it on a day-to-day basis. we
Yeah.
there was a whole time when I used to see gay people before I got out of the closet. I felt it was too much for me. But then when I came out the closet, I was like, I'm at last free to actually express myself. And if I have a partner with myself, I'm definitely going to express sexually on street. Like, I'm still till date scared of doing public display of affection, because you've been told so many times that it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. But then at the same time, there is this whole inner voice telling you, like, oh my god, what will people think, log kya
Yeah.
kahenge, and all of that. So
Yeah.
with that, there are people from the community who are actually, what, I am not going to listen to what other people say. I'm going to live my life, and I'm going to, if I have to show my body and be positive about my body, I'm definitely going to do it, because they've been for so long being told to like live in the shadows, and they don't want to
Yeah.
live in the shadows anymore.
Yeah, so basically you're in a better position actually than most people. I think everybody, whether you're non-heterosexual, heterosexual, I think all of us would love to express ourselves. It's just that you have the guts to do it. I think this could be the difference. And the way they perceive it is their problem, I would say. But say now, so you've had the personal kind of things that you've had to face, the dilemmas, you've had this to contend with. So when it comes to the workforce, so the reason why I'm asking, so from the West, so I'm from the West, and when you look at an application form, they ask you about your gender, they ask you about your marital status, but they don't ask you about your sexual orientation, because it really should not matter, because it doesn't affect you, it shouldn't affect the way you carry out your job. I mean, so the question is, have you faced challenges in the workforce? I mean, applying for jobs, say in an office, for example.
So, so I've been kicked out of two jobs, basically based on bisexual orientation, and also that I'm performing artist as a
Yeah.
drag queen. I've been kicked out of jobs. There was a job interview that I went to where the recruiter was like, knew that I was queer, and
Mm.
she made the assumption, because the role was for recruitment slash marketing position, assume that I will be hurt in the position, that if I get the job. She made the assumption that because I'm effeminate, people will make fun of my body language, and then I will end up getting hurt. And so it is better not to give the job at all. But the question of skill set was never arised, or like, hey, is this person good for the job, basically based on solely on his skill set and not on their gender, sexuality, or any of those. Like, see, like, we are living in India, we are living with so much diverse people, but nobody goes around asking your religion, caste, creed. It's never happened in any job. I mean, there would be a really large commotion if that happens. Now, why can't the same thing happen with gender and sexuality? Why do you need to know a person's gender? Why do you need to know a person's sexuality? It's their choice at the end of the day.
Yeah. So come 2018, so come September, Section 377 was amended. A lot of activists have been behind that. We've had Shashi Tharoor as a fantastic voice in Parliament supporting their campaign. I wish he was here today as well, so he could join in the party too. But has that little kind of highlight delete of the Section 377, has it had a major impact on job opportunities? Have employers opened their arms and said, you know what, come on in? Has it changed actually?
So last year, I was really thankful to be part of a job fair, which is only for the LGBTQIA community. It was open and we had around 200 companies to come and recruit people from the community. It was a starting step, and that is amazing, because this is post Section 377, the repeal of Section 377. Companies are opening up, and the best part is when it starts from there, and that is how the change starts. They start having inclusion and diversity policies. I've had a lot of companies which were initially, I should not name this company, but there's a company in Chennai. When we went initially, as I was working with an NGO known as Solidarity Foundation to do sensitization programs, and they flat out said, no, we don't want to be part of this. And then come after a year, after Section 377 repeal, I was called in as a speaker on the Pink Day, where it's the day against homophobia and biphobia and transphobia. So the change was immense, because they said no before, and now they were like, you know what, come in, talk to our employees, say what, and I ended up, like, I was told only to speak for one department. I ended up speaking for two departments, actually. So
that's fantastic.
So it goes like that, it's like baby steps. I keep telling people that it's baby steps. You have to start somewhere, and that is how it's going to lead. The change is going to lead.
So when did the persona of Maya actually come then? So what came first and what came after?
I keep saying to people that Maya yanked me out of the closet because I wanted to be comfortable with myself, and drag actually makes you comfortable. Like if I tell anybody, they say, "Oh, I wish I could be a drag queen." I said, drag is meant to be done once in your lifetime. If people from any gender, sexuality can do drag. That makes you comfortable with who you are, and that actually made me come out of the closet. So I did my first performance in September 2014, and I came out in October 2014. So that's how it works for me.
No, that's fantastic, actually. So great stuff.
That's a long journey.
Yeah. So do you think Maya's doing better, or is Alex doing better for work?
We're doing better together.
Unity. Oh, Shalini.
So I think when you talked about we women are also fighting the same. So it's not just you, women who are fighting the same story even till today. So doesn't it seem like it's a man's society as of this moment what we're all facing?
Oh God,
Shalini, can you repeat?
You can't hear me?
I think there's an echo.
Now I can a bit.
Okay. I said you talked about inclusion and diversity. So I think that we're fighting the the story even for women, right? So do you think it's just totally a man-made society that you're fighting, and like there's no inclusion yet?
Yeah, I completely agree with you that it's a man's world out there. But then, I keep saying that the LGBT rights and the women rights go in hand in hand. So if I, as a drag queen, I'm trying to make my voice out there, I'm actually also equally trying to say, hey, it's not just me, it's for all the people who are being suppressed a lot, and irrespective of their gender and their sexuality. So that's what I keep telling people. Because, I notice a change. Like there's been 6 years since I've been performing as a drag queen. Um, like, men are okay if I make fun of women, but they're not okay if I become a woman or I'm a psychological woman. So I chose to be a psychological woman and not to make fun of women.
Yeah, so there you go.
Tell us about Chaya with Maya.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think they should add W to the group.
So Chaya with Maya, I did 2 seasons till date. It was in various different platforms on YouTube, on Facebook pages and all that. But right now, I think I should take the next step where I want to do it in front of a live audience. So I'm just waiting to get all this chaos over and then do Chaya with Maya, and bring in people who are actually ready to support the LGBT community, because at the moment we need allies. Like right now, what you're doing, you fabulous 3 ladies are doing, is you're actually giving me voice on your show, and that is really important. And that's exactly what I want to do with people from the community as well. They need a voice too. They need their voice to be heard. So that's what I intend to do with Chaya with Maya. Now, the next step is do it in front of studio-led audience, and that is what I intend to do after everything is over, after all this chaos is over.
Wonderful. We're looking forward to that. On that note, I'm going to ask Sonal and Annie if they have any more questions. Sonal, Annie,
Yeah, so are we going to get tickets for the show?
Yes, of course. Yes, and I'm pretty sure at some point I'm definitely going to call all you ladies to the show as well, and we'll have a conversation. Let's do our form of shy out. Spill the tea. That's what we're going to do.
Go Maya, go Maya. We're all
wanted to have you on our hot seat today, and I think the viewers have really enjoyed it, because I can see a whole lot of comments from people. They're really excited to have heard you out, and you should do that with Maya, because we love to see that too as well. And thank you so much for being with us. Thank you out there. Thank you for watching a big piece from Sonal, Annie, Maya, and me. Have a good one. Stay home and stay safe.
Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you. Bye.